In this video, we're going to be working on a 1998 through 2010 Volkswagen Beetle. We're going to be installing the front lower ball joint, and it's located right behind the tire on the bottom side of the control arm. Let's get into it. You should have a little center cap here that you need to take off. You want to use the straight blade screwdriver, just get underneath there, pop that off. This vehicle does not have that. Then take your hook and then find this hole right here and then just pull the cap right off. It's just held on by those positions. Now you can access the lug nuts. Use the wheel lock key, find the wheel lock, take that one off with a 17mm socket. Then using the same 17mm, we're going to take off the lug bolts. Before I take the last one off, I'm just going to support the wheel from falling. Take that off, then pull the wheel off. Now I'm going to use a 30mm 12-point socket. Take the axle nut off. I'm going to make sure you can push the axle through. Take this bolt out here. Use a 16mm socket. Twist that up a little bit. Using a 13mm socket, take these three bolts out. And you have this plate right here that has the nuts attached to that, so take that off. And now you can pull the lower ball joint, separate that from the control arm. And slide the axle out, just out of the way. That's fine. Using an 18mm socket, we'll take this nut off. And take that nut off. There's different front end tools you can use to separate the ball joint from the knuckle. We're going to use a pickle fork. Just line this up underneath here, give it a tap. That pops right off. Now line the ball joint up. Same way it came out. And take the castle nut, get that started. And snug this down. And now we'll torque that nut to 33 foot-pounds. You want to check where the hole is for the cotter pin. See if it's lined up with the castle nut. If it's not lined up, you want to tighten it up a little bit more just so everything lines up right. Take the cotter pin, line it up through the hole, and you can take a screwdriver, try to get this to line up in the right direction. Just bend this out of the way. Use some side cutters, fold it over, and then trim the excess. Now I take the axle and line it up into the knuckle and move that. Slide that in. You can get the lower ball joint lined up into the lower control arm. Just spin this slightly. That's good like that. And we'll put the lower ball joint bolts in and the nuts. Get those started. Whenever you remove these bolts, make sure you replace those. And we'll snug these up first. And with a 13mm wrench on top, 10mm socket down below, I'm going to torque these to 15 foot-pounds and then an additional 90 degrees. It's 15 and then 90 degrees. 15 and 90 degrees. And put the axle nut on. Now we're going to torque the nut. We're going to take 2 of the lug studs, get those started there, and then using a pry bar, that's going to prevent the hub from spinning, just like that, just the pry bar against the ground. And I'm going to torque this nut to 148 foot-pounds. Just make sure. Now we're going to loosen the nut. There is a procedure for this, so turn this. So move the pry bar to the other side. Now we're going to loosen this a half turn. Right to there. Then you need to turn the hub a half turn. You can go to there. Just move the stud over. Set the pry bar up again. And then we're going to torque it to 50 foot-pounds. And then with a torque angle meter, you want to go an additional 60 degrees. If you don't have a torque angle meter, do the best you can. And then you can take out the lug bolts. Now slide the link down in position, get the bolt, get that started. Get that lined up. Snug that down. Now we're going to torque that to 33 foot-pounds. Now put the wheel on, line it up, put the bolts in. And the wheel lock key with the wheel lock. Just tighten those down. Now we're going to torque these lug bolts to 89 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check. Take the key out and take the center cap. If that center ring popped out, you want to put that back in. Line that up and pop it in place. Then if you have that little cap, you want to push that on. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.